Hello everybody, it's me, Anthony Coach, a guitarist on YouTube, and today, well look at this, it's a very different setup to what you're used to on my channel, and today's a little bit different because I'm going to do this as a little bit of I'm going to treat this as if I'm teaching someone. You know, I do video call lessons, got a lot of experience talking about this kind of stuff with loads of different guitarists from around the world, I suppose, more local, but some of you are on the other side of the world. So I'm aware of what questions pop up, and a lot of my time is spent talking about what I'm going to bring up today, the basics of music theory as seen through the eyes of a guitar player. And it's going to be completely unedited, just so then it allows me to have a train of thought, not really get too bogged down with the editing. Hopefully I don't bore you. If you're here anyway, then it might be your kind of thing that you're into. I've got this set up all planned out, ready. We're not going too in depth today, but I am going to talk about music theory, which can be quite tricky to get your head around. But then the thing that I found is that the more videos you watch, the more books you read, the clearer it gets. So hopefully you might be a returning subscriber watching this, which is, you're always welcome, and hopefully this helps. But you might have watched loads of different videos and you still have a few questions. So if you've happened across this one, hopefully I get you a little bit further to understanding these concepts. Anyway, I've already been talking for a long time there, and I know you mentioned music theory. Here we go. This is unedited music theory. Okay, the guitar string. We're going to start all the way down here on the low E string. Okay, I've got no amplifier. That's a good start, isn't it? It was just behind you there. I'm not editing that out. Okay. Low E string. And the first thing that I think is important to get your head around when it comes to learning music theory is the major scale. Now you can see here on this screen, I've got this set up. The software I'm using is just GIMP image software. It's not the best, but I know how to use it, so I'm using it. TTS. What does that even mean? Well, I definitely know that over in the States you would write WWH. These are intervals. Now interval is the distance between two notes. So in racing, you measure intervals in time. You know, I was 10 seconds faster than you. In drawing, you measure intervals by measurement of centimetres. This line, I'm going to draw this line. Where's the next line? Oh, it's about 10 centimetres this way. And you judge those distances between, and you get better at doing it the more you do it. It's the same with this stuff, intervals. So, intervals is the distance between two notes. That's what this is referring to. So we've got tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. What does that even mean? You might be way ahead of me here, but I don't know what level you're at, so I've just got to pitch it somewhere. So I'm pitching it at the absolute beginner. A semitone is the shortest increment that we can play on Western instruments. That is to say, a fret, one fret's distance. This is a note, this is the note E. I can play a really, really high note all the way up there on fret 24. That's a massive interval. The shortest, smallest interval is fret 1 on that low E string. And we call that a semitone. So then a tone is simply one more up. So it's two semitones worth. So we've got, there's a note. I can play the same note again. That's not an interval, that's just the same note. I can play that first increment, that's a semitone. Then I can play the next increment, that is called a tone. I can play all the others, but we don't care about that. That's a bit more advanced. We're just talking about tone and semitone. So a really, really good thing to get your head around here is playing a low E string and then saying out loud to yourself, tone or whole. So tone, I'm going to stick with tone just from habit. Tone. So you play a tone away. Tone again. Semitone. Tone. 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 Semitone. Look where I end up. I end up on fret 12. If you're not aware, fret 12 is the same note again. So there's an E. Fret 12 is an E. I'm going to play that a little bit sped up. That might be a familiar sound to you. That is a major scale. So, in my opinion, the first thing to get your head around when it comes to memorising music theory, learning music theory, is the major scale. The minor scale doesn't matter. You're already learning the minor scale at the same time. You just don't know it yet. So, don't worry about that. That takes care of itself. This is the major scale, and that's all you need to know. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. I just played an E major scale by doing that. What if I started this on the note G, fret 3, and go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. I've now just played a G major scale. If you are going to do this, don't fall into the trap that literally everyone does and go tone, tone, semitone. Don't say tone on the first one. A tone is a name of an interval, not a note. So don't go tone, tone, semitone. That throws everything else out. You've got to get the first note out of the way. Go. And then go right. Tone, 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 semitone, tone, 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 tone. And I'm sure you're with me on that. This is the weird thing with guitar. It can feel like you're playing something very different when you do those scale boxes and scale diagrams. But look at that. Oh, listen to that. It sounds the same. So we get the benefit of being able to play across our instrument as well as along. So I always think it's well worth going back to doing it across one string, just so then you get a sense of the intervals, like a flute player would. Imagine a flute. You know, a flute is like just one long guitar string, like this, sideways on like that. And you've got those increments that you have to memorise. We skip that step when we do this. And we go like that. And it's not, you know, I think that's a vital step to take. Anyway, I don't know how long this video is going to be, by the way. And hopefully you're still watching by this point. Okay. So what starts to happen when you do that is you hear it. Your ear anticipates a note. So let's do it on C. Look, I'm on a different string. Okay. Can you hear those last two notes? I can, in my head. So your ear is getting used to it. However, theoretically speaking, it's well worth, it's so important, I said it 3 times, well worth starting to get to grips with what notes you're actually playing. So in the case of G major, from earlier, going G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that one's got a G, an F sharp in it, which is interesting enough. What about if we did C? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. No sharps, no flats. What about if we did F major? F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. So then, what I'm doing there is I'm visualising that in my head, sort of. When I was learning, that's what I was doing. Now I've memorised them, but a really good step to take is to think about that on the guitar neck. This all comes down to fretboard knowledge. So I started on this note here. Let me get a nice colour on here. Let's have red. Okay, everyone likes red. Whoops, You see a bit of Cubase there. Good job it wasn't anything more incriminating. Right, so where was I? I was on C, and I just played C. Where's my paintbrush? Oh, come on, don't do this to me. It's because I need a new layer. Bear with me. Unedited. It's only like, it feels like doing live telly. C, and that's white. Of course, that's going to happen. Let's get that red. Okay. So, in my head, what am I actually visualizing there? I'm visualizing C, D, E, F, G, A. Now I run out of space. B, C would go all the way up. Just like when I did this F1, I went F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Again, running out of space. The pattern is the same, but the fact that you start on different notes creates different amounts of sharps and flats. And sharps and flats brings me smoothly onto this thing. People know what this is. Guitarists know what this is. And I have students who bring this up all the time. But I think that it gets rarely used and thought about. If you're not aware of what this is the circle of fifths. Okay, if I were to play a C major scale, the fifth note up, C, D, E, F, G. So that was starting on C, and I went C, D, E, F, G. The fifth note up in the major scale from C is G. So that, okay, that's why that's that. G, A, B, C, D. That accounts for the D major, the D key. And I'm sure you know where this is going. The fifth note up in D is D, E, F sharp, G, A. And then A, B, C sharp, D, E. E, F sharp, G sharp, A. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. And then B, C sharp, D sharp, and so on and so on and so on. All the way around. So each note written around there is the fifth note of the scale away from the preceding one. Okay. That's just boring, dry theory. That's not going to get you to improve in any way, shape or form to know that. I don't think. I think you've got to delve a bit deeper. So the thing is that C major, when we did this earlier, we discovered that there were no sharps or flats. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There were no sharps or flats. This key signature here, over here, is telling us that there are no sharps or flats because it's just a treble clef and there's nothing next to it. G major, do you remember from earlier? If you're still watching. If you're still watching and you remember a G major from earlier, I said it was G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. In the key of G major, there is one sharp. In the key of D major, there are two sharps. In the key of A major, there are three. E major, there are four, and so on and so on and so on. B is a tough key, it's got 5 sharps. F sharp, it's got 6 sharps. It can also be known as G flat, doesn't matter. Around this area here, that gets rarer in terms of music and music theory. Not saying it doesn't exist and it's not worth learning, but I would probably get to grips with the top half of the circle first. We'll go the other way, let's go this way. So F major, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Why am I not calling that note, that note there, why am I not calling that an A sharp? The reason is because alphabetically speaking, look at this on here. So F, that's really, really small, sorry. F, oh, it's all going disastrously wrong. F, make it big, make it embiggen it. I need to have it embiggened. F, G, A. Imagine if I wrote A sharp in there now. I've got 2 A's in a row, that's not alphabetical. So it needs to be a B flat. Let me put a big case B just to make it easier to read that that's a flat, then C, D, E, F. So now alphabetically speaking, as in the alphabet, not the musical alphabet, that makes sense. F, G, A, some kind of B, C, D, E, F. That's why you wouldn't have F, G, A sharp. That's because two A's in a row isn't good to read. It doesn't roll off the tongue easily. So that's why that is. Memorising the 12 major keys. Now it's not, I'm going to have to just do this, hang on. Yep, now I said it's unedited footage, but this camera does something weird after so many minutes, and I have to reset it. Anyway, where was I? Memorising the 12 major keys. If you, any of my students, if you're watching this video and if you've watched it this far, anyone that I teach understands that I hold the value of the following thing that I'm going to say in such high stead. I think it's essential. Memorising the 12 major keys to the point where you can go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat, D flat, E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C, D flat. All 12 keys. It's different for everyone, that process. I used flashcards. I remember, you know, I wrote on the answer, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. And then on here, I'd write the key of B major. So I'd look at this side, and you know how flashcards work, I'm sure you do, but I'd look on that and I'd go, I'd try and get it, and then I'd check the answer and I'd put that on the correct pile, and then I'd review all the incorrect pile. Some people like to memorise the actual circle of fifths and then think, okay, what key am I in? I'm in A major, C is 12 o'clock. So C is 12 o'clock, and it's gone wrong. C is 12 o'clock. I don't like doing the unedited videos, it's too much pressure. There we go. C is at 12 o'clock, and I'm in A major, so then G has got, go away, G has got 1 sharp. In the red they're doing this. D's got 2, A has got 3, and that jogs the memory doing it that way. What's next? What's next? I want you to ignore this. That was just making a point from earlier. I've just chosen a scale here. Moving on. I've chosen a scale, the G major scale. So the G major scale from earlier is play the note, then tone, tone, tone. Sorry, tone, tone, tone. I fell into my own trap. Play the note first, Anthony. Calm down. There's no rush. If people aren't watching, they're not watching by this point. So remain calm for the people who are. There's the note G. Then you say tone. Then tone. Tone, 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 semitone. I got it wrong again there, but I played it correctly. That's the main thing. I should have said tone, tone, semitone. Tone, 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 semitone. That, going back up to this, just so happens to result in the notes G, A, B, C, D, F sharp, E, F sharp, G. These down here, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. You might know the major scale and play this all the time. All the nice noodly stuff. But there's something else to think about. I'm going to leave off here. I don't want this video to be ages and ages long, but I think this next bit, there is so much experimentation that you can do at this point. Fun experimentation. The best kind of experimentation. Look at this, what I've written. M, dim. Dim. That's what I've written there. Why have I written dim? Well, there's some uppercase and some lowercase, you might have guessed already. If you harmonise each note of the scale, harmony, diatonic harmony, to play note 1, then to jump over note 2 and play note 3, to jump over note 4 and play note 5, you end up with this thing. The beautiful, beautiful simplicity of that sound, the major triad. To play those separately is to play an arpeggio, but to play them together all at once is a chord. Arpeggio is like spelling a word. Chord is like saying the word. You say a word like guitar, or you see it written and then someone says, how do you spell that? And you spell it, G-U-I-T-A-R. It's like playing a G chord, and then you can spell it, G-B-D. They're the notes that make it up. So imagine this, imagine you have a group of 3 singers, and you go to that singer over there, you go, you sing me a G, you sing me a B, and you sing me a D. You ready? 3, 4. Bang! They'd be singing a G major chord. If they sang one at a time, that'd be a G major arpeggio. If you harmonise from the 2nd degree of the scale, that is to say, to start on the note A, jump over B and play a C, jump over D and play an E, you end up with the sad sound. In other words, an A minor triad or A minor arpeggio. When you harmonise from the note B, you end up with notes, let me do it over the top here, B, D, F sharp. What is B, D, F sharp? Let's test it out. A nice sad sounding minor chord. I was gonna say I'm gonna skip ahead there. Not gonna, because that's what this video is for. C gives you C, E, G. A C major chord. D gives you D, F sharp, A. Imagine there's an A there, or this A back to the beginning. D, F sharp, A. D major. E gives you E, G, B, which is E minor. E, G, B. Lastly, F sharp gives you F sharp, A, imagine that A there, A, C. Look at this, this is nice, isn't it? Nice little pattern I'm making. F gives you F sharp, A, C. Diminished, evil, we've all turned evil. Okay, that becomes a formula that is true for every single major key. All the 12 major keys, when harmonised, produce the exact same chord patterns. Major, chord 1 is always major, chord 2 is always minor, chord 3 is minor, then major, major, minor, diminished. So to make this a little bit neater, look what I've got. G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished. That's, imagine you're an artist and you're going to paint a picture and you have a little palette of colours. You don't think of all the colours because your painting might lack consonants. It might lack a simplicity in just having a few hand-picked complementary colours. This is like a little palette of chords. It's not the only chords you can have, but in basic harmony, basic triad harmony, this is your basic palette of chord tones, chord colours, chord shapes, chord sounds, whatever. When you mix and match those, you end up with a piece of music that is in G major. Let's quickly test it out. I don't want this video to go on for much longer. I'm going to do A minor, D, G. That would be chord 2, 5, then 1. It's not the coolest piece of music that I've ever come up with. Let's make it a bit more contemporary, a bit cooler. I'm just going to arpeggiate them. I played a bit of a weird ending to that G chord, but you get the idea that it sounded a bit more musical, a bit more usable, a bit less cheesy with the arpeggios. Let's do one more. What about chord 3, 6, 4, 1. 3, 6, 4, 1. you can't go wrong because those chords came from the exact same scale. Massively, massively quick, very quick recap. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Memorise that at the very least. That's the major scale. When you started on the note E, you end up with E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, blah, 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 blah. You remember that from earlier. You can either memorise all 12 major keys as cold hard facts with your flashcard system, or by using the circle of fifths. Entirely up to you, everyone's different. That's what I've learned. I used to try and force people to do the flashcard system, but everyone has their own methods. That's just the example in G major, what you come up with. Then harmony, diatonic harmony. You jump over the notes. It gives you this formula: major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. That then becomes a nice little pool of chords that sound nice together. A palette of colours, musical colours that sound good together. Wow, okay. That's the real basics of music theory. Within that are so many different avenues and questions that I'm sure would arise. That's what the comment section's for. And just let me know if you've got any questions. If you watch this video this far, take that time to let me know in the comment section, because when people tell me that, it just makes it worth it. If a billion people watch this video and no one commented that they watched to the end, I would be less happy than if just one person just said, watched it to the end, thank you Anthony, you're the best, the greatest, then that would always be better. So anyway, I love music theory. Hopefully a bit of passion rubbed off on you, and this is a bit of food for thought. Carry on with your quest for musical world dominance, and I will see you in the next video, which will be a bit more edited than this one, I'm sure.